welcome to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. We're really playing with your minds tonight, right? But hey, we're all having fun and we're all learning the process as we go along. Good night to each and every one of you. Mr. Kenneth, good night to you. How are you doing tonight?
Well, good night. You know, we are all stressed out in the studio, but we are doing fine. Thank you for coming and thank our guests for their patience.
We have some handsome guests in our studio. Let's start with introducing the famous John from Queens. And as we said earlier, you guys couldn't hear us. Hey, it's the Mind-Body Connection on the Island Zone Radio. Good night to each and every one of you. Hey, thank you guys for waiting. Auntie Una, good night. Bibi Ahmad, Sonia, the beautiful Sonia, Debadine, Jasmine Prasad, good night to you. Varshni, how you doing? Well, we do have some committed viewers. What can I say? They stuck around. They waited out for all of us.
Yes, and on that note, we would like to say thank you very much, guys. And stay tuned because we will be giving you some good information.
And we'll be talking to these two gentlemen. Number one to my right is the famous John from Queens, is our number one West Indian YouTuber. Yes, I said West Indian because John is more West Indian than most of us here. He's been to Guyana, he's been to Trinidad. He loves Guyanese food, Trinidadian food, you know.
West Indian food.
Oh, he loves the West Indian and Caribbean food, and he is our number one YouTuber. He's always supporting our community, all the events. And to our farther right, Mr. Kenneth's guest.
Sadi, welcome aboard, sir. As you guys don't know, some of you might know him. He hails from Lenora. We actually from the same village. His father was a well-known teacher from Guyana who have influenced so many lives, and I'm so proud of this young man who he is with me here. He helps so much in addiction where it comes to our Guyanese population, especially our Indian population. And we're always helping. He always calls me whenever, you know, someone is in a need. He is there looking out for our Guyanese clients. So thank you very much, Saudi.
No problem. Thank you. Nice to be here, and hopefully I can give some information to be able to help someone. I can't help everybody, but if at least if we can help one person, that's the most important thing tonight. And
that is important to start with one. We always have to start with one, and we can always improve. Everyone lives matter.
That's right.
Yes, and I would like to say happy 13-year anniversary to my brother, Surendra and Asha. They're in the studio here tonight. And
we have a full studio tonight.
Yes, and Surrendra's birthday is Friday coming too, so happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
And I guess everyone is invited back to the studio for food and refreshments.
Yes, and one more, Rani's birthday is today, so we want to say God bless you. We hope all goes well with you and you live a healthy life.
Happy life.
Yes.
Healthy and happy, that's all we could ask for. And it seems like our audio is good. Thank you to the beautiful Bibi, Ken, Ramprasad. Hey, how you guys are doing? Jasmine, Auntie Line, how you doing? Debbie Roberts, thank you guys. The beautiful Sonia Debadine, Mr. Vinod, how you doing? Auntie Una, thank you. And we have lots and lots of information as we talk about alcohol abuse. We'll get right into our topic tonight because we have so much information and the time is limited.
Yes, guys, so tonight I'm going to run through a little bit. No, we are not stressed out. We want to give you a lot of information. We have so much planned, and if we can't get them out tonight, definitely next week we'll have a continual of this. So alcohol use disorder, which includes a level that sometimes called alcoholism. It's a pattern of alcohol use that involves controlling your drinking, being preoccupied with alcohol, continuing to use alcohol even when it's causing problem, especially with your wife, having to drink more to get the same effect, or having withdrawal symptoms when you rapidly decrease or stop drinking. Unhealthy alcohol use include any alcohol use that puts your health or safety at risk. And we know that sometimes you don't care, but people drink and end up killing themselves or cause other alcohol-related problems, and we will go into that. It also includes binge drinking, a pattern of drinks where male consume more than 5 drink within 2 hours, and female they drink like 4 within 2 hours. Well, that's something to talk about.
What is it called? Binge drinking?
Binge drinking.
Binge drinking.
Binge.
Yes.
Binge. Wow, we learned something tonight. Right up.
You drink right after the other, and you're not stopping to enjoy the first shot. You keep drinking, okay? And you said if your pattern of drinking results in repeated significant distress and problems functioning in your daily life, you likely have alcohol use disorder. It can range from mild to severe. However, even a mild disorder can escalate and lead to serious problem. So earlier treatment is important. We're going to talk about treatment early. So John, how do you see this? I'm saying that when you're drinking a lot, and the earlier you get into treatment, it's better for you. What's your take?
Oh, definitely. But sometimes people that are, I don't want to say alcoholics, people that are hooked on it, they try to hide it.
They're in denial.
They try to deny it, and
It's
that's the
hard
only
for
problem.
someone
I know a lot of people like that. And,
It's hard for someone to come and say, I'm an alcoholic. Sometimes they can't believe
but
themselves.
If they could somehow admit to it and get treatment, or like check themselves into a clinic, I mean, what other way is it? I'm talking about for the hardcore. Do I say alcoholics? I don't
Yes.
want to say alcoholics.
We're talking
Let's
about
say alcohol lovers.
abuse,
Alcohol lovers. People that love to drink, they don't even realize.
And
how much
I
they're
know
drinking.
that Saudi, he get the first hand, and I like to focus more into our West Indian, especially Guyanese, and Saudi get a real first-hand experience of what happened in our Indian or Guyanese population. And what's your take, Saudi?
Well, I mean, like was mentioned before, one of the first things is acceptance. The problem with Guyanese or West Indian is they think drinking a lot is a normal thing, but sometimes what happens is the person start drinking and they get to the point where they lose all manageability of their life. The guy's losing a job, or he goes out and he goes drinking, and when he start drinking he can't stop. This is the problem. There are different kinds of drinkers. There's people who drink normal, socially. They'll take one or two drinks. And then there's people who, when they start drinking, they just can't stop. It's like the guy who, and in the ending of the night, he's so drunk, he passed out in the corner. So the thing is, one of the things in the West Indian community is, whatever happens in the house stays in the house. Mm-hmm. So if I have a brother or a dad or a sister or somebody who's like drinking too much, you don't want anybody to know. You try to hide it. And what you're doing there is you're enabling them, and they end up doing it more and more, and just keep destroying their lives. So for somebody like that, or if you have somebody like that that might have a problem with alcohol, the first thing is to seek help. But you can't help anybody that doesn't want help. You know what I mean? If you tell me I'm an alcoholic and I say, well, no, I'm not. I'm okay. I just drink a lot. But then meanwhile, I'm falling over every time I walk down the block, and everybody knows I'm drunk all the time. Then you probably have a problem, So, I mean, for West Indians, that's one of the main thing. It's usually denial, or the other thing, they say, well, we're supposed to drink all the time because, I'm Guyanese or I'm Trinidadian or whatever the case may be.
They feel it's a norm.
They think it's a norm, right? And it's not a norm. Alcoholism is a disease, as was mentioned before. It's a disease that affects, a lot of people.
And I'm glad that you say it's a disease, because you know what, Saudi? It is a disease, and I want our Guyanese population to learn this, that alcohol problem is like a disease. It's just like you've been diagnosed with hypertension or diabetes or anything. So you have to look at it in this way. So let's go to some of the risk factors. Alcohol use may begin in teens, but alcohol use disorder occurs more frequently in 20 to 30 years, though it can start earlier in life. And we know in Guyana, when you're a small boy, sometimes your parents offer you, come take a shot, come take one drink, and they don't know, like later on, what the problem could cause with all of this. Also, steady drinking over time, drinking too much or on a regular basis for an extended period of binge drinking on a regular basis can lead to alcohol-related problems or alcohol disorder. Starting at an early age, people who drink start drinking early, especially binge drinking at an early age, at a high risk of alcohol use disorder. And let's talk about one important thing, our family history. The risk of alcohol use disorder is higher for people who have parents or other close relatives who has problem drinking. This may be influenced by a genetic factor. Let's go with this. We say if you have family that's drinking alcohol, we are saying that their chance of being an alcoholic, it's more higher. What's your take, John?
I believe so.
I believe you can control
I believe
it
it's
because
genetic somewhat.
I believe if I know my family history and there are alcoholics in my family, I will try to stay away from them. I'll look at them as a role model, so I wouldn't want to be like them.
Well, you know what? I mean, a lot of people they would say maybe that goes both ways, right? There's some people who say my family used to drink and that's why I end up drinking. There's people who family never drank and end up drinking, right? So there's no way for you to gauge that. I would say more than likely if somebody has a family history or an environment, I should say, right? It depends on how you're socially brought up. If you're in an environment where every day is a fun day and you can party every day, then you're probably going to end up with that, And I said, people are thinking, this isn't only a Guyanese problem. The thing about alcoholism is a non-discriminatory disease. Means it affects black, white, brown, woman, man, whatever. It doesn't matter who you are. It's a disease. It's similar to cancer. You can't say, well, I'm Guyanese, my skin is brown, I can't get skin cancer, right? It happens.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Alcoholism is like cancer in that it affects the person. It kills them slowly. General population, right? And it affects the family. It's a family disease because if you have a family member, like if you have a dad who's an alcoholic, per se, right? He's not providing for the family anymore. The kids are probably going to have a lot of social adjustment issues. It really affects everybody. He can't provide for the home. So what happens now? The mom has to work.
It could be a domino effect.
It's a domino effect.
Right.
Exactly.
And that Sonia Devedin just add to that. She said it's not only Guyanese or alcoholics, a lot of Americans as well. So people turn to the bottle because of stress.
Exactly. So, and I see Lena, I said, guy and a man loved rum, drinking till you die, liquor on my head, bottle on my knees, don't talk to me. Absolutely. And I see Satishwar Prasad says, always admit your fault and you would always be successful in life. You know what? And like Saudi said before, and John said, the first thing you have to do is to really accept that you have a problem drinking. And if you don't accept that, well, then you have a problem. And most of the time, a lot of people that I see from experience have to hit rock bottom
before they pick themselves up.
And let's talk about depression and the other mental illness. I have seen over the 20-something years I'm a nurse, I see quite often a lot of people who has been diagnosed with a lot of psychiatric diagnoses like anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. They have problem with drinking and they're constantly drinking. I've always asked myself that question. How come we have so much people with mental disability that is drinking all the time? You want to add anything to that?
I mean, look, the issue with alcoholic is they can't cope with certain things. They can't cope with everyday things that happen, everyday life issues. It becomes an issue for them. Alcohol is a symptom of a more underlying problem. Alcoholism is not the liquid in the bottle. Alcoholism is a disease that centers in the mind and it affects the body as well. So the alcoholic, his mind and his body are both abnormal. You can't have one without the other. So a normal guy loses a job. He says, you know what? I got to send out some resume. I got to get a new job. An alcoholic loses a job. What happens?
I need a drink.
I need a drink, right? A regular guy, the wife leaves him. Yeah, he goes through divorce court, whatever. It's a little stressful. He's able to adjust and he's able to deal with it. Alcohol, his wife left him. You know what he says?
I'm going to the bar.
More time to drink because nobody to look over my shoulder and tell me what time I need to get home. You know what I mean? So there's a difference there. The alcoholic... So the normal drinker will drink one drink and he'll be fine, right? A guy who might have a little bit of problem with alcohol, he might drink, he might have a little problem, he's able to adjust. The chronic alcoholic, here's the problem. The chronic alcoholic, wife, no wife, job, no job, place to live, no place to live. It doesn't matter what.
They don't need a reason to drink.
Doesn't need a reason to drink, right? So whether he's happy or sad, he's still going to drink because it's not about coping with anything. It's just because he's an alcoholic. He can't handle certain things, and then he goes to the bottle. Mm-hmm. And then people say, well, you're an alcoholic. The bottle, the liquor is the problem. It's not the liquor. The disease center in the mind, the alcoholic is not able to adjust and deal with certain things like regular people. Because how come you have two guys living in the same house and one of them turns out to be an alcoholic, right? How do you account for that? It's not the parents treat them differently. Treat them exactly the same. One person is not able to adjust. And this is what happens. And becomes an alcoholic and a chronic alcoholic. Once he starts drinking, he can't stop. Mm-hmm. The only time he's going to stop is when the money run out or he gets into trouble or something like that. You know, so that's the other thing with alcoholic, and that's what we have to distinguish.
I got an interesting point. I've always thought about this. to be hooked on something, whether it's alcohol or drugs or something. I'm fortunate enough to not really have been hooked on anything. I mean, I drink. I try to just do it socially. I don't go home like. I don't even feel to drink when I'm home, like alone. Like some people I know, they got to drink three or 4 or 5 beers every single night. I said, really? They go, yeah, you don't. I said, no. Sometimes I drink half a beer. I'm not interested. So I'm, glad to say it's just part of who I am. I think it's genetic, not, biological. There's a lot of stuff. Some people are just hooked on anything. I mean, a lot of things they're hooked on. I'm lucky. I can only speak for myself. God made me, so I don't know why I'm one of the lucky ones. Not that when I had problems, I would drink. Certain things go on. We don't want to get into stuff too personal right now, but I've drank when I'm home, depressed. It does have its purpose, but I'm lucky to say I personally am not hooked on it. There are people, the majority of people I would say do get hooked on it, as well as other things, not just alcohol. And cigarettes. I mean, there's something that's legal. Yes. There's people I know to this day, they can't get off it. My mother died of cancer. My father, I don't go into the details. And some people just hooked on a lot of stuff.
And I want to add in that too.
By the way, I'm hooked on YouTube. I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Just make a little. I know I'm hooked on YouTube, so I'm hooked on something. I'm hooked on uploading videos.
He's a YouTuber addict.
Everybody knows John from Queens, but go ahead. Sorry, man.
And he's lucky, guys, that if you look on his, he have. I wonder sometime a lot of nice girls and models he shoot their pictures. But anyway, so John, going back to your statement that you said, which is correct, that when you drink, it does not it probably eases your problem for a little bit, but when you wake up, when you sober up,
still there.
Let me say, when you sober up, your problem is still there, and you still have to deal with it. Also, we learned that history of trauma, people who have been raped, molested. In any form of trauma, they have actually a lot of people that I've met, like I said, and I'm going with some experience here in Saudi, will tell you that a lot of people who have been alcoholic, they struggle from being abused and like for those clients, I've always said in my mind that they need some kind of therapy to help them. And so when we cross paths with people like these, we should encourage them to get some kind of treatment, some way to help them. Let's talk about even to having bariatric surgery. Some researchers' studies indicate that having bariatric surgery may increase the risk of developing alcohol use disorder or relapse after recovering from alcohol use. And we know the bariatric surgery, is what you do to lose weight. You lose the weight, yes, and sometimes you can even be depressed from that. Social and cultural factor, having a friend or close partner who drinks regularly could increase the risk of alcohol use. The glamorous way that drinking is sometimes portrayed in the media also may send a bad message that it's okay to drink too much. For young people, the influence of parents, peers, and role model can impact your life. And yes, we're talking that if you have a mother or a father or any relative who's living in the house, can influence you and can cause you to actually becoming a alcoholic too. So will you take, John, you want to take that if you live in a house?
I don't know if the video froze.
It's all right.
Okay. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I'm saying that if you have a family, like a mother, a father, or brother or sister who actually is alcoholic, potential is that you can be alcoholic too, because this is what you grew up with, this is what you see.
It's true, but it's not written in stone that
you have to do it. You have to drink.
There's a lot of people that drink. A lot of people love to drink. A lot of people don't think they're drinking too much. Doesn't necessarily mean you're an alcoholic. I mean, where do we define? We know when you're too far gone, you're hiding and you're drinking. That's an alcohol. But like, what is the minimum determination? Is it like 5? Is it like 5 beers a day? Is it like half a I don't know, liter of vodka every day or every week? So it's hard to say. What's the
definition of an alcoholic?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. There's different levels, right? Like I said before, right? There's a social guy who would drink once in a while. There's the moderate drinker. There's the hard drinker. He looks like an alcoholic. The guy would drink nonstop. But if given sufficient reason, like say, for example, Kenneth come home tonight and he's drunk. And the wife said, the next time you come home drunk, Kenneth, you ain't coming in the house. And Kenneth have a little bit of problem, but he's able to stop. He's able to manage it, right? You drink, your wife, you drink and you go to work, and the job say, listen, man, you smell like liquor. The next time you come to work and you drunk, you don't have a job, right? The heavy drinker, he's somewhat able to say, all right, you know what, I'm going to lose my job, I'll stop. Here's the difference with the chronic alcoholic. He comes home, the wife say, the next time you come home drunk, right, you ain't coming in the house. You say, you know what, I ain't coming back tonight, I'm gone, right? Or, you go to job, right? So the thing is with the alcoholic, there's two distinguishing factors. Look, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you the medical aspect of it. I'll tell you what I know based on experience with people. The alcoholic is like this. Once he starts drinking, he's sometimes unable to stop. So this is the guy that goes to the bar, and at 4 o'clock the bar is closing. He's like, where are you guys going? I want to go out and have some more fun, right? And the other part is when he tries to stop on his own, he's unable to as well. So, somebody said, listen, you got to stop drinking. You're drinking too much. No. You got to stop. And he says, okay, I'll try. And he's able to do it, maybe for a week or two. And then the same guy is going to go back to the same bar and be drunk again. So the chronic alcoholic is the guy, or the alcoholic is the guy, once he picks up that first drink, he can't stop until he passes out or he runs out of money or something like that.
So it's most of self-control. He can't control himself.
He has no self-control, right? He's powerless over the drink. Once
true.
you put a drink in front of him, he can't say no. He can say no to a lot of other things, right? He can do a lot of other things. And here's another misconception, because since we're talking about self-control, the alcoholic isn't the guy that lives on Liberty Avenue at 123rd Street. Everybody thinks the alcoholic has to be the homeless guy. You can have 2 cars in your garage, all your bills paid, have a nice house, have a good family, and still be an alcoholic. Why? Because, well, not just drinking at home. Once you pick up the drink, you can't stop. It's just like having cancer. It doesn't matter who it is. You can have all the money in the world. You're probably still going to get cancer. The same thing with alcoholism, right? It doesn't matter who you are. It can affect you. So people sometimes see the guy with a house. He has a nice car. Well, no, man, he can't be.
He looks like the normal family guy.
Right. And that's the fallacy. That's the thing in our community. We don't associate that with being alcoholic. We're like, the guy's successful. He have a good time. He can always party. We think the guy who's living in the street corner, the bum guy, we think that's the alcoholic, and that's just not true.
Good night to the beautiful Maharani Dubey. Auntie Una Prasad said she was very embarrassed one day when her boss asked her, why does Guyanese drink so much? Well, I'm embarrassed too sometimes. I went on a boat cruise once, and I've seen so much women. We're talking about alcoholism, not just guys. We're talking about women, men and women. And there was so much women drinking. And I had an Indian friend on that boat cruise, and he looked around. He looked at me. He's like, "Is this normal?" I'm like, I'm not on a lot of boat cruise, but I was embarrassed to be there around those girls at that time. So I understand where you're coming from, Auntie Una. I believe Mr. Kenneth should read Mr. John Nimitz' comment. Good night to each and every one of you. Line, good night to you. Thank you for sharing. Sharing is always caring. Thank you guys for sticking around every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. Auntie Nalini and Michael Naidu, good night to you. Maharani Dubey. Aditya Deo Moti, good night to you. And Mr. Deo Moti wrote, alcohol lead to suicide in Guyana. Not just Guyana, around the world.
Yes, and I see Sonia wrote, guys, I lost my mother-in-law at age 52. She was an alcoholic, died from cirrhosis of the liver. Doctor stopped him from drinking. He could not stop. And that's one of the bad thing is that when you drink too much, you could get cirrhosis of the liver. I see Anand said there's a bit of inaccuracy pending peddlers here. Alcoholism is a disease and addiction is ipso fact mental health issue and thus has very little to do with control or lack thereof. Let's go back to impact of your safety. Excessive drinking can reduce your risk, your judgment risk. We know that, and this is why sometimes when people drink, you expect them to do any kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? For example, drinking and driving.
It impairs your judgment, so you're not going to be functioning at the normal, And I'll read Sonia's comment. She said, people turn to alcohol because of stress, because they cannot handle situation. Drinking help them deal with it and deal with the pain. But remember, it's temporarily. and it goes back to normal the next day. Heard it from so many people who got into trouble while drinking.
Alcohol, it causes motor vehicle accident too. Other types of accidental injury, such as drowning, because sometimes guys say that we go on a boat trip, and what they do, they walk with their alcohol and they drink, and guess what? They get into accident. We know that alcohol, and we adults here, we know that alcoholics, we sometimes have a lot of problems with our relationship with our husband or our wives. John, you want to say anything?
Well, I had a DWI a year and a half ago, but I was a little under the limit. But I was in New Jersey, and I was on the beach, and I just happened to encounter a hothead park police officer, a young guy.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was I was drinking early on the beach, sobered up. I didn't walk with a breathalyzer, but I believe I was good. I was with other people, loading up my car. I was a little on the curb at the beach in New Jersey, or not on the regular streets in New Jersey, on beach property, let's just say. So it comes over, questions me, like routine or whatever, and he says, "Were you drinking earlier?" So I said, "Should I say no, or should I tell him yes earlier?" So I said, "Yeah, earlier on I was drinking, but he said, "How long ago?" I said, 3 hours, at least 3 hours," which was true. He's car, and he gave me the whole thing. And now I was on the beach. I was in sandals, bathing suit, whatever, all day, eating, drinking, or whatever, at the beach. So loading up a car, figured many hours. I was exhausted in my beach sandals. So he asked me to walk on beach property, like I said. So I 10 steps this way, 10 steps, did everything perfect, lift my leg up, and then for about, I don't know, my leg was up for a long time. I'm very strong. My legs are strong. So I put it down. He says, "I didn't tell you to put your leg down yet." I said, I don't. So he said, "Could do the whole thing over." So now he made me do it over. Another 10 step, lift my leg up. So I stumble a little bit. Goes, "Aha!" Goes, so he gives me your additional test or whatever. Now, he did arrest me. Okay,
He did arrest you.
he put me in a cell. Like this is all on beach property. Unknowing at that time what the result was. I actually went to court. It was actually like way under the limit. It wasn't zero, my reading. I don't say what it was. But legally, nothing. But he was saying, like, I in his mind or whatever, that I would endanger people, like as I'm leaving the beach area or whatever. Go to court, fight the whole thing. Cost me $4,700. So I just want to tell everybody, the main thing is, whether you're alcoholic or not, or addicted, do not drink and drive is the main concern.
Well,
that is what I say, to avoid any hassle, injuring somebody, killing somebody, paying money, because I don't want to say my exact age, but I'm not a 20-something-year-old. I wish I was, but I never had a problem up until a year and a half ago, where I had to dish out that kind of money. That's a lot of money. At least
my question to John,
$4,700 is a lot of money.
It is a
I
lot
learned
of
my
money.
lesson. I will not drink and drive, so I recommend to everybody, Uber or however, bus, Uber, do not
drinking and
do
drive.
not go to these bars and drink, or a friend's house or wedding, or wherever you're going. Do not drink and drive.
All right, so my question tonight for John is, on that day, what was your state of mind? And guys, keep in mind, John is a very respectable guy, and he's very mature. He's very responsible, I should say, just like most of us, What was your state of mind while you were under that situation?
Well, to tell you the truth, that was the end of the day. That was actually around 7 p.m. The whole day was like one of the best beach days of my life. I don't go to the beach often, but there was a nice crowd. There was music on the beach. It was.
But for you, were you
I go to the
able
beach
to drive?
twice a year if I'm lucky, ever. Once a year, twice a year, and just ruined the whole thing. It was my
But
state of.
for you thought you could drive at that time?
Absolutely, I could drive. I'm one of those people that I know I could drive, but
You
that's
wouldn't
not
get
the
behind the
point.
wheel.
It's not the point. But there are people that can have one beer and they drive up a one-way. They go on the park in the opposite direction. I can't speak on behalf of them.
But for you,
And
your
I'm not
judgment.
saying it's good to drink and drive, but personally, I handle it very well, and I don't drink often, but I do handle it well. I don't argue. I don't curse. I'm very pleasant to be around personally. Other people are not. I know people that have one or two beer and they start cursing. They think it's all right. And they shove you. They fight. They throw things on the floor. I know plenty of people like that. They're miserable.
So
I'm not. So did I answer? I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, that makes two kind of people when they're drunk. Some behave bad and some behave good. But
Right.
nevertheless, it's not a good thing to be drunk, right? You should know what you're doing at all time.
Exactly. So Shanaz, I have just a few more points to bring in, but I want to touch back on drinking and drugs. In just a minute, we also know that you drink increase the likelihood that you commit violent crime or being the victim of a crime, legal problems or problems with employment or your finances. And you know that there are some people who can drink, like if I drink one beer, I may get drunk, but you give somebody 40 beers and they would not get drunk. So, you know, we talked about that earlier. So, you know, I'm not the one who can do it. Like I might drink a beer and I can't even drive the car. But
your tolerance level is very low.
Yeah, some people may drink 40 beers and still able to maneuver their car. You have a problem with other substance, and as we know that sometimes alcohol is the gateway for other substance abuse, other drugs, pills, and whatever it is. Also, you engage in risky, unprotected sex and experiencing sexual abuse or date rape. Increased risk of attempted or they may even complete suicide. And let's go back to drinking and driving. You guys ready?
Good night to Stefan. How you doing? Steph is the John from Queen's assistant. Good night to you. Ryan Jeffrey, how you doing? Line, good night. Stanley, good night to you. Gita Baldeo, thank you guys for sharing. Sharing is always caring. Rajendra Singh, we'll get back to your comment. Jai Prasad, good night to you. He says alcohol kills more people than drugs anywhere in the world. You want to add to that, Kenneth? Stanley Ramsrand, good night to you.
Exactly. So I really do believe that, you know, alcohol can cause a lot of problems. And that's why we are here. And I really wanted this program to last more than 2 hours because I find that there are so much problems with alcoholism that we are dealing with. And I know that Sally knows a lot of this because he's been calling me some now and again. About a lot of, especially, and I don't want to say Guyanese is the only one drinking. I don't want to say that.
Right, as Mr. Anand said, Guyanese is not
the only one that's drinking.
Right,
we have Americans, we have, and like Sally said earlier, people from all spectrum in their life. You have rich, poor, black, poor, rich. You have different Christians, Hindus.
I know some Trinidadians that drink too.
Some, John, you know, some
especially on Carnival Monday and Carnival Tuesday.
Look, I mean, look, here's the thing,
it's hard
right?
for me to find a Trinidadian that doesn't drink. That's
well, here's the thing. Before we start blanking out whole nationalities and country, we will probably get killed when we walk out the studio. But here's the thing. The thing with alcohol, yes, it is a gateway drug. But the other thing is because it's a social norm. It's legal. You can go into deli and buy a beer. You know, and people think, well, you know, drugs is bad for you. But alcohol, it's legal. And alcohol, you know, and here's the thing, and you know this much more than I do. The withdrawal from alcohol can kill you. The withdrawal from other substances may not kill you. It might be difficult. Right. But the disease of alcoholism.
Liver cirrhosis.
Well, it's cirrhosis of liver. Well, alcohol, here's the thing. It's a non-discriminatory disease, meaning it affects anyone and anybody. It also, in terms of your organs in your body, it's non-discriminatory. It affects your eyesight, your liver, your heart, you know, your hearing, everything. It goes through your entire pore. You know, you ever next to an alcoholic, a guy who drinks a lot? And he probably drank like 5 days ago. But you can still smell it because it's coming out of their pores, you know? Sure. And the thing with alcohol, again, because, you know, you grow up in Guyana, right? They tell you, you know, boy, if you drink once in a while, it's because apparently, you know,
bad, okay and drugs is bad.
Right, drugs is bad, right? Which that's a fallacy as well,
having
right?
One drink.
I mean, I'm not saying, well, look, don't drink but use drugs. I'm just saying they're all equally bad. But the mindset we have to get out of is that, alcohol is okay, but drugs are bad. Because, you know, it can go to the flip side.
It depends on your usage, how much you want to control, you know.
Right. I mean,
control.
We're not talking about drugs so much, but, you know, one of the big things in which you probably know about is pills. Like painkillers is a big thing. A guy goes for surgery, all of a sudden he can't stop using the painkiller. And these are things, and again, like other things, and it's a gateway. So like alcohol, marijuana is a gateway drug.
yes.
These are simple things that kids dabble in, and then all of a sudden, they're full blown alcoholic, or they become full blown addicts.
Yes, let me add, as you were saying, alcohol. Some of the questions that we ask our patients when they we do ask them, which drugs they use, and we know that alcohol causes more problem. And we know if you're not drinking, you start to get the shakes within a couple hours. 24 hours, you get shake, you get sweating, you get loss of appetite, agitation, restlessness, inability, irritability, nausea and vomiting, anxiety and nervousness. Your heart rate goes up, you get tremors, disorientation, heartache, insomnia, and seizures. So I'm going to tell you now that when they couple hours, like 24 to 48 hours, when you don't get this alcohol to drink, you started to get all these shakes. And one of the things you want to know if someone is they're alcoholic, you check their hands. They can't even hold it together. They always shaking and trembling, and we call it tremors. We got fine tremors and all these things. The other thing is that it could go beyond to have seizures. So as we're going here now, let's talk about. I'll have to stray away from the topic a little bit so that we can catch some things and we could share with our viewers. When someone is going through all these withdrawal symptoms, one of the best things that we can do, Sadi and John, is that we need to take these people to get supervised. And listen carefully what I'm going to say. They need to get supervised detox. Don't keep them home and think that you can keep them and you're going to tell them to stay away from the alcohol. No, you're causing problem. You need to take them to the hospital so they could get a supervised detox. They will be seen by a doctor. The doctor will give them some Librium, some Ativan to calm down. Because what happens when you don't get this alcohol, your body goes through a lot of changes, a lot of physical changes, like the shaking. You get medication for the changes, and then you don't want someone to go through withdrawals where they have to end up having seizures, they fall, hit their head, and they die or they get something. So John want to say something. Go ahead, John.
Most people will not volunteer if you say, listen, I think you're drinking too much. I'm going to bring you to the hospital. I'm going to bring you to rehab. They're going to, no, I don't drink. What are you talking about?
They might get rebellious.
Anyway, I don't need that. All right, I'll cut down. They may not want. Most people would not want to, let's say, enter rehab.
Exactly. So let's go back to drinking. So let me get a song then going. A song.
Let's say good night to the beautiful Sonia, Shanti Singh, Gita Balde, Oline, good night to you. Sonia Debedine, everyone is adding. We love getting all your comments and feedback.
Yeah,
Angela Ramsren, good night to you. I wouldn't comment on that one. John is a wonderful guy and he's sharing his experience with each and every one of us tonight, and he's a very reputable guy in our community. So if we could take a few notes and learn a few things from him, that'll be good, because as we all may know, sometimes it's very hard to admit, and I'll speak for West Indian because I've been dealing with a lot of West Indian. They can never admit to being an alcoholic. They can't admit to being anything. If they have cancer or they're going through something, tell somebody that they're going through that.
And also, may I add to Shanaz that anytime someone comes, and one of our reasons that we bring these programs together is to help people. And when we bring people like Sadi or John into this studio here, is that for them to share the story, that we may be able to help other people out there. And we have to commend any of our guests that when they come here and sit down to talk about these things, we have to commend them. And thank you guys for coming in. Let's talk about drinking and driving. We know that when you drink, it impairs your driving ability. Every day, 29 people in the United States die in motor vehicle accident crashes that involve alcohol-impaired driver. There is one death every 50 minutes. The annual cost for alcohol-related crashes totally more than $44 billion. Can you imagine that? In 2016, 10,497 people died in alcohol-impaired driving crashes, according to accounting for 28% of all traffic-related deaths in the United States. Of the 1,233 traffic deaths among children ages 0 to 14, 2016, more than 1 million drivers were arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. I want to say, go ahead and talk.
I wanted to add something. This is something I always tell people. This is like a scenario. So a lot of people drink every weekend, whether or not. It doesn't matter, every month, every weekend, every day. Okay. You could drive great, which I can, okay. But let's say you're driving home now, you had 3 or 4 beers, you're legally drunk, you feel great, okay. Let's say you're just a few yards from your house. A little child that you don't see, you're not doing anything wrong, you're getting ready to pull in your driveway, let's say. Little child runs away from his mother, you don't see him, and he runs under your wheel. All of a sudden, that child is
Your responsibility.
dead. You're going to jail now. Not only the poor child you killed, you know, you didn't intend to. Let's say you were driving straight, okay, but you're legally drunk. You will go to jail for vehicular manslaughter. You will have lost everything. So if you have a city job or whatever type of job, you lose everything. You're going to jail. It's something that people should think about. Like, do I pay $20 for an Uber, have a good time, and after, or do I drive my car to save $20 and then risk something could happen,
that
even if it's not my
consequences.
fault, even if I'm driving good, but I'm legally drunk? That's all the police want to know, that you're legally drunk. So this could happen. A little child, anybody, you know, you may not mean to do it. You lost everything now. You lost your house. Let's say you're married. If you're in jail for 15 years, your wife, maybe you should find somebody else. She's lonely. You're in jail for 15, 20 years.
Well, you don't necessarily have to be
So,
in jail for
take
your
an
wife
Uber.
to find someone, John. You don't necessarily have to be
Yes.
in jail for your wife to find someone.
Well,
If you're
true,
being
but
out
take an
here
Uber.
and you can't be responsible for your action, that alone will lead her to getting somebody else, you know, and disrupting your marriage.
And can I ask just
Sure,
something
go
about
ahead.
Uber? Not that I have shares in Uber, but I downloaded it since that happened to me a year and a half ago. Now, the great thing about Uber, in case you don't know, let's just go back in time where there wasn't Uber, there was taxi. So taxi's inconvenient back in the day, because let's say you come out of a club, wherever, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, call a taxi, they're not answering, or they're busy, this, that. Now you're stuck there in the middle of nowhere, it's nighttime. This doesn't happen with Uber. As soon as you put in the thing, there's cars swarming, begging to
Within a
come
couple
pick
minutes.
you. Uber is the best thing. It changed the whole scenario. It makes it fun to not drink and drive.
So guys, be
Uber.
responsible.
Yeah,
If you're drinking, call an Uber or call John
best.
from
I
Queens.
use
He
it
might
all the
pick
time.
you up. Good night to
Uber all the
Justin. How
time.
you doing? Diane Chinilal, good night to you. Shanti Singh said, John, congratulations. You look good. Well, John always looks good. Stanley Ramsren, good night to you. Jai Prasad, thank you very much. Line. Ryan Jeffrey, good night to all the wonderful DJs and hosts we have on Island Zone Radio. Tune into the Mind Body Connection every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. We don't have a curfew. We'll go until 4 a.m.
That's right. You want to do some service announcement?
Just one shout out.
Go ahead.
And let's go. John from Queens.
Just one shout out. I know Shanaz shout out Steph-Ann, Princess Fluffy. Well, I would like to personally thank her, Princess Fluffy, Steph-Ann Steph on Facebook. In case you guys don't know that, she's my senior assistant. We're very close. Thanks for that. All you did for me. We're gonna do a lot of stuff together. Just let everybody know. And thanks for
Ryan
watching.
Jeffrey, good night to you. Ryan said he's a social drinker, and I believe social drinker is acceptable. What do you think?
Listen, I think anybody could take a drink if that's what they want to do, and do it respectfully and
Responsibly.
Responsibly. Don't drink and drunk and go drive your car. Because like John said, there is a lot of problem. There's a lot of ramification of drinking and driving now. And I find that now that the detox that I work in, if police arrested you, you into a lot of trouble, John. You know the problem. Now they can send you for detox to come to our detox for a whole month, and you will not get to eat your food. You will not get to see your wife.
So if you
will
love your
not
West
get
Indian food,
anybody.
you're not getting that in Kenneth Center.
Exactly. So, and then sometimes they send you in for 6 months and you can't go see your family. So, guys, I'm going to tell you, be very careful of drinking and driving. And I would not endorse that anybody drink and drive. Like John said, always there is Uber, there is Lyft, there is so much thing. Or call one of your cousin to pick you up. Because you know what? You don't want to hit somebody and then they're brain dead. And my God, you
That's on your
imagine that?
conscience,
Yeah, how are
you
you
know?
going to continue to live like this knowing that you have somebody that cannot take care of themselves? John want to say something.
Yes, there's another thing that I experienced, that if you are arrested and you obviously have to report to your job, because sometimes if your job finds out and you don't report it, then they terminate you. So most people,
There are other
like me,
consequences.
I had to report it, because by not reporting it, 6 months later, if they find out, they could fire you for like lying. So the thing is that they make you go to now, they call it a program by a professional clinic. Like I picked the one closest to my house, which was Coney Island, and you're like stuck in there twice a week, and it depends on the severity of the crime. But mine would have been like a 45. So if you have other stuff to do, like if you have little kids to pick up or drop or stuff, it messes up your whole life, because you have to go to this program usually twice a week. In my case, it was Tuesday night, Thursday night. It was just horrible. It was.
So that was a bad experience for John.
Being forced to do it, it's just terrible. Fortunately, I proved my innocence in court, even though I had to pay, and I only did like 20 visits instead of 45. But it was like I was in jail all over. Like it was unbelievable. That's another thing. If you don't, even if you don't hit anybody or once it's reported, you have to go to the clinic, buy your job, forced to buy your job, and it's just horrible.
And everyone look at you in the AA program, right?
Yeah, well, it was a small group of people. There's only about 5 people in my group. The instructors were nice. It's just a matter of having, your work. So you pick, if you work nights, they give you, like a daytime to do it. For me, I work day shift. They show me what's available. But the point is, you have to go. You have to do it twice a week. Maybe 45 or more. I mean, it could be more. 45 if it's like an isolated incident. Mine was an isolated incident. From the beginning, they understood that, so they give me. For other people, could be 6 months. If they, if you're caught drinking on the job, which I was not. So if you're caught drinking on the job, then that they treat that more severe. So you could be talking like 6 months that your job may like your job. You may have a pension job with a pension, city job.
You
Who
just
knows what
mess
you
all
are.
of that up.
Yeah, so it's horrible to have to be forced to go to this thing.
Shanti said, what about people who's speeding and get an accident also on the cell phone? That's also very dangerous. So if you have a few drinks, that could also impair your judgment, and you feel like it's normal for you to pick up the telephone, or you need to make a telephone call, So it's all a domino effect, could go negative from that. Geeta, good night to you. Justin Sider said, teach your children, raise them with good moral values. Let them be an example of what you preach. Thank you, Justin. Stanley, good night to you. And Steph said 100% for John. Thank you, Steph. Maharani Dubey, good night to you. Auntie Nalini, how you doing? Billy Hawk, Ryan Jeffrey.
So what I want to say to Shanaz, I cannot imagine that my license being suspended, because that to me
we all depend on that to get around every day.
To move back and forth every day. So another important thing is to watch your driver's license going to be suspended, and not probably for a whole year, 6 months, and sometimes you don't get it back. You get it revoked. And imagine you, a person like me who always depend on my car, what's going to happen to you? And like John said, all this court costs, and you have to do, and then sometimes they could. Probably would tell me more about it, where you have to blow into a meter before you get into your car, or to do a breathalyzer.
That's in the severe situations where, like, probably you're one of the people like caught on your job drinking, so they know that you're at a different level. Like then, let's say an isolated incident.
Also, they could put a ban on your foot.
Well, yeah. So I mean, some people, what happens is if it's such a severe incident and they get found guilty by the court, they actually have to pay for the equipment to get installed in their car.
So.
They have to blow on it before the car would start. I mean, and then if you get into other activities and it's more severe, they would actually, if you have repeat offense, they would convict you, and you have an ankle bracelet.
Yeah. Where your behavior is monitored every day.
Yeah, you gotta check in. You got a parole officer, all of that stuff. So, I mean, for some of us, we think, it's only a night, a good time. But by the ending of the night, you're so impaired, you don't even know what a good time is anymore. Right. And everybody thinks, oh, I'm good, I'll drive home, And you talk to people, you're going to tell you, well, if you close one eye, you can see better. And if you drive the back road, don't drive on Liberty, drive on 101 Avenue.
Friends don't let friends drive drunk. That's one thing I must say. And I feel like there's a lot of bullying when it comes to drinking. If I know someone is not drinking, do not offer them a drink, because you don't know how they'll behave after that. Time after time, I'm surrounded by folks who say, just have another drink, just one more drink,
That's peer pressure, right?
Yes,
that's
if
what
you know
it is.
you're surrounded by people who will encourage you to drink and you don't like it, leave the group.
Yes, and so we could probably go for a song now.
Where is our DJ, guys? Thank you for locking on to Island Zone Radio. We have the Bedroom Bully, Mr. Apache Warrior in the building. And speaking of Apache Warrior, guys, come and join Mr. Kenneth Hiram next week. April 27 is the day. Chutney Wine, Apache Warrior will be there. And lots of wonderful artists will be there. Mr. John from Queens will be there also videoing for his YouTube channel. So guys, come and say hi to the famous John from Queens. Get yourself a VIP ticket or just a regular ticket and come and hang with us. Mr. Who's our lucky winner tonight? Well, this lucky guy here tonight got a VIP ticket for just coming on board and sharing his experience with us tonight. If you would like to be in the hot seat right next to Mr. Kenneth, whether you're in the studio or at the show, do reach out to us, The Caribbean Voice, on Facebook. Follow us, share the page, and hey, sharing is always caring. Let's go with some music. Enjoy.
नहीं तेरी मेरी कहानी
guys, goal, as they say. Welcome back to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection every Monday right here on Island Zone Radio. Tonight we have the famous John from Queens, our #1 West Indian. I must have to emphasize on that, our West Indian YouTuber, and he loves YouTube, but we'll get into more of that. We have Mr. Kenneth and Sadi Hamid. They're all sharing their experience and their thoughts and their knowledge with us today, empowering us to be better human beings.
So let's talk. We know that John is #1 YouTuber. He has so much followers, and we are glad that we get him. I want to say thank you very much for coming in today, and I want to tell you are part of the Caribbean Voice.
I enjoyed it.
And I know that you help upload our videos.
By the way, he's our editor when it comes to uploading our videos on Files and Spectrum. He's editing our videos for us. So thank you, John. He's one of my very good friends. We've known each other for quite some time. And he's very mannerly, he's very reputable, and he's very helpful.
So tell us, John, what you do and how you do things.
Well, I do it very well. No, I'm not kidding. But, well, to make a long story very short, basically, if you don't know who I am, I'm the free promoter. I'm John Franco. I love to promote for free. Not that I have anything against anybody that takes money for stuff, but I promote for free. I encourage to get videos from anybody, singers, dancers. Because why? Because the whole world could kind of see you. When I say kind of, every country, I believe, at this point knows who I am. You could just Google the name John from Queens, not my real name. So my real name on the Facebook, not too much people. Who's John Palmieri? That's John from Queens, the famous John from Queens. Anyway, to make a long story short, guys. So if you're a singer, whether you're an amateur singer, obviously professional singer, local singer, a lot of people do send me their videos, some don't. I encourage the ones that don't to still send, even if you have a YouTube channel, it's icing on your cake. I also like the shout outs. I love when people shout me out. I don't know why, because it feels nice. People shout me out, especially SMS here, it's a little shout out video. So if you want to do that, you want to shout out the famous John from Queens, you could do that, HD full screen video, send to johnfromqueens@gmail.com. Also, if John from Queens goes out once in a while to film shows, I'll be filming Chutney Wine. I filmed Chutney Glow. I love Chutney Glow. Chutney Glow kind of make me kind of popular and famous to the Caribbean community, especially with the Boodle Sing Tassa Group video, which is almost probably 800,000 views. But anyway, just saying, guys. So if John from Queens is not at a show on any given weekend, I'm talking to the promoters here. The promoters, you could have somebody you know or hire somebody to video. I don't have to be the one to actually video your event. You could have somebody video even a few videos, 1, 2, 3, 10 videos. I will put it on John from Queen Street for free. I will come pick it up. You can put it on a USB. You can send it to me. So I don't have to be filming something. That holds true for singers also. Like my boy Apache, Waterflow. If you could get a friend, girlfriend, whatever, buddy, film like your little performance, even at a bar or thing. Give it to me, and now I put it on YouTube. The same thing. Also, guys, I need. I always like new faces to do commercials for me. If you guys know, I have like hundreds and hundreds of commercials by awesome models. So if you would like to do a commercial for John from Queens, I compensate all my models, by the way. If you know what I mean. So you could contact me, and we could do it locally, or even I don't have to film. If you live abroad, you still could do it. You could live overseas. You could still. That's how I have some people doing the videos. If you're in Guyana, Trinidad, different countries, I also, people like that on John from Queens YouTube channel. I have 2 YouTube channels, by the way. You could film like different parts of Guyana, the historic, like Kaicho Falls, St. George Cathedral, stuff like that, HD. I'll put it on YouTube. You could be in the video. You don't have to be in the video. Also, I'm looking for, if you guys know, I've done the John from Queens show a few times with Nishan the Hitman, Chutney Queen Fiona Singh, and a lot of other popular people. I'm looking now for somebody to be a guest host so they could interview somebody. Create the John from Queens show, so you will be representing me. So anybody that wants to interview a singer, dancer, anybody that you think is popular, I can put them on I can make another John from Queens show and put that on John from Queens 3. What's the benefit? Because John from Queens 3 YouTube channel is very popular. That's the benefit. Basically, that's it. I hope
Well, guys, he'll be filming for Chutney Wine. The date is April 27. We have from Suriname the beautiful Reshma Tiwari, Priyanka, Mr. Apache Warrior, who's always supporting the Caribbean Voice. And speaking of Apache Warrior, we have a couple of programs coming up. June 29 in Florida, we are coming to the Sip and Chat restaurant. Beautiful show. Concert for Hope. Do join the cast and help us spread the word. Support a worthy cause. Chutney Wine is April 27th. 27. John from Queens will be there, and he's looking for you. Also in New York, July 13th. Save the date. July 13th is the Concert for Hope in NYC. Did someone say GT? Well, that's right. We are going for Guyana. Concert for Hope. We are heading your way. Save the date and support the Caribbean Voice. Remember, we are an organization, and we
And also we collect, the school where we are trying to help. We are collecting computers.
That's
and
right.
you
Our
have the people there.
slideshow earlier shows our previous, a few weeks ago, distribution of medical supplies. Thank you to Dr. Sugrim, Humanitarian Mission of New Jersey. Yes, he always helping us, and it's good when non-for-profit organization is working together. They make so much more possible.
Yeah, so if you have wheelchairs, computers that you're not using, any kind of equipment, just call Shanaz, myself, or you can even call Anand Budram. We'll come get it and we'll send it to where it's really needed. Just please make an effort and see how you can help us. Also, if you want to make a donation to the Caribbean Voice, this is a non-profit organization that deal with suicide prevention and domestic violence, among many other things. So your contribution will go a very far way. So please continue to support us. With your support, like I said, it's going to go a far way. So John and Sadi, I want to say this, that many people today do not view addiction as a disease, which I said earlier, but it is a disease, and some believe it's a moral problem. And much more severity places blame on people with alcohol problem. Especially I know a lot of people from Guyana, they think that, it's a big problem with our Indian men, and they're not even looking at it where it's a psych problem, or they have a problem with that. How you guys look at it? And I know you did mention about something just now, or not earlier.
John, you want to go first?
You mean how do you deal with people being addicted?
No, how you look at them. You see somebody drunk on the street. What's your take? Do you think that they are so bad? Why they're doing this?
I don't think they're bad. It's just that there's so many people that are addicted in different stages. I personally, like I said, I don't mean to be repetitive. I personally am not addicted, because I could go weeks and weeks and weeks without drinking. For real. I like to drink with company. Definitely, if I'm driving, I'm not gonna drink. So that cut it a lot. When I was younger, yes, I used to drink a lot. I used to bar hop. I used to do
bar hop.
20-some years old. Yeah. It was not right. But then again, there wasn't so much things going on. Like I remember even before they used to take your car away.
Yeah.
I remember when that happened, that was like a big thing. They catch you, they take your car away, no questions. I think Mayor Koch was the mayor. Mm-hmm. So, but even before that, there wasn't much penalties. Like now, it seems, maybe just because I'm older, I see so many more stories in the news and so much murders. But I feel sorry for people, that are hooked on it. I don't want to say alcoholics. I know a lot of people personally, like about 10. But I do mention to them about Uber and stuff like that. I know some of them still go to bars weekly, even during the week. Mm-hmm. The week, I don't touch this stuff. It has to be on the weekend, if ever. Mm-hmm. So like this guy's Tuesday night. Right now, there are hundreds of people in bars and driving home. Cops are hovering around, especially Richmond Hill area. I don't know. It's pretty scary. It's been that way for decades. Cops follow you, paddy wagons, I call them, the vans. Mm-hmm. So I feel sorry for people that are hooked to it. You can't force them to get help. They may not want it. They may not feel they need it, or they may have so much sadness. Let's call it sadness, depression in their life, a breakup, or I don't know. Maybe they don't have a good job. They're trying to get a better job, and it could be anything. And they drink, and to tell you the truth, I'm not against it in that sense, because I'm married now, but I've been divorced before. I remember that actually helped me. I was like feeling so horrible. You have night enough to say I had a rum and coke, a couple of shots, and it helped me go to sleep. And it's not an illegal substance. Mm-hmm. And after a few weeks, I'm not saying every day, but how they say time heals all. And it's like I said, it's not illegal. Enough time will go by, you don't feel the hurt so much. So it could help in the right way. Alcohol could help in the right way. It helped for me because thank God I'm not hooked on it. So I've been through, some hard times in my life, and I drink at home, don't drive nowhere, and it makes me feel good. Listen to a little music, people I know especially,
Yes, he listened to the Caribbean Voice. He listened to Apache Warrior. And then someone said Ricky Jai. I know he loves Ricky Jai. Ricky Jai will be here April 27. That's right. More Casto Chutney Wine, April 27, Amazur Concert Hall. Get your tickets today. I know John got his ticket. Up close and personal. He'll be filming each and every one of the artists. And he'll love to film you guys. Not forgetting our guest that made it our studio tonight. He'll be sitting on the VIP table with Mr. Kenneth. Our guest that made it in our studio tonight. Mr. Saadi Hamid will be getting a ticket as well. So guys, come on down. April 27, Chutney Wine, Amazur Concert Hall.
Yeah. So, I mean, to answer your question, right? Yeah, look, when I was younger, I see a guy drinking. I would say, why the hell that man drinking so much? He's a drunk, whatever the case may be, But as I get to understand what it entails, they're a sick person. They're not bad. It's just the same way. Like I keep using the analogy with cancer, right? Like if somebody's sick with cancer, everybody feels sorry for them, right? You treat them well, you find out if they're doing good. But we don't do that with an alcoholic because it's a social disease. You're like, you're no good. You're a vagabond. That's what you look at.
You're saying that they call that upon themselves?
Well, exactly, right? But the truth of the matter is, because alcoholism is not understood as a disease, in our community, we think, look, back home, we had the people, they used to live next to us, right? Three brothers, right? I'm not going to call names. But these guys used to work hard, and they were drunk every weekend and had no money for their family, And I was like, why would they do that to their family? Why would you do that, right? Now, who in their normal mind would put themselves through that, right? A normal people, it's like for example, if you touch a hot stove, a normal person would say, well, that burned. I'm not putting my hand on the stove anymore. Difference with an alcoholic. He put his hand on the hot stove, and next weekend, he's going to say, you know what? It's going to happen different this time. Let me touch the stove one more time. And that's the difference with the alcohol. That's the mentality of an alcoholic. Although last weekend was so terrible, he got arrested, he got into a fight, he got in trouble with the wife. This week he's going to tell himself, well, I'll know when to stop. So I'm going to drink a little bit, and then I'll know to stop. The problem with the alcoholic, again, it comes back full circle. Once he picks up the drink, he can't stop. So the thing with our community, or the thing with the way we look at alcoholic, has to change. We can't look at him, there he goes. They're sick people. Because if we look at it as a disease, then we'll understand they're sick people. They're sick mentally and they're sick physically. There's a third option. There's a third disease that they have, which we can't get into tonight. Hopefully next time. But there's alcoholism. They say it's a physiological disease, right? It's and medically that's how it's explained. So, but yeah, I gotta say I'm guilty. When I was younger and I see somebody who's an alcoholic or they drink a lot, I thought they were no good. I thought they were
That's the judgment that comes to mind.
Right.
It's like normal.
And then I get to understand what it is, and then I realize, well, to the most of them, they can't even help themselves,
And that's why, Sadi, we want to bring program like this so that we can help our community and help people to understand when we talk about alcoholism, why people drinking and all these things. So I'm sure that next week we're going to bring you back and we can dig into this because we have so much more information.
That's right. Part 2 continue next week, Monday. Same place, same channel. Island Zone Radio, 8 to 10 p.m. with Mr. Hiram. I know you folks might be away, but tune in 8 to 10 p.m. as they have part 2. Hey, I might be away too. Where will I be? Will I be in Guyana again? Or Florida this time? Maybe I'll be in Canada, but nevertheless, I'll be locked on to the Caribbean Voice presentation of the Mind-Body Connection. 5 minutes of your time, Ken. That's right. Suicide prevention is everybody's business. Where's our DJ? We need a nice oldies on a beautiful Monday evening like tonight. Thank you guys for always joining and supporting us, the Caribbean Voice.
Thank you guys for asking. Thank you.
Thank you guys. John, thank you. Thank you, Sadi. And I know that it's not the end of our meeting.
Yes, sir.
Some people have it, and some people don't. Some people never will. Sometimes it's hard to know when you got it. Sometimes it's perfectly clear. Well, I know it's out there, I've seen it happen. I know the way it should feel. 'Cause there's no mistaking that good kind of aching of a once in a lifetime love. A once in a lifetime love. A love like we've all dreamed of. It may go disguised right before your eyes. A once in a lifetime love. Think you feel it inside you, don't let it slip away. You may not ever find what you never thought you'd have anyway. You've always had
सफर एक जरा इंतजार सुन सदाएं
Rum man is madman. They have Jumbie in them. And yes, I believe I saw some of my neighbors. I thought they had Jumbie in them for real. So maybe now I know they wasn't Jumbie, right? Maybe it was the rum. Some of them. I have an uncle. He wasn't always drunk, but whenever he had like a beer or two, he was the nicest, sweetest person ever. And then I know my neighbor, one beer, and he comes home and start beating up on his wife.
Yes.
So it's an effect, right?
Oh,
Let's talk about that.
Lost audio? Lost audio? Oh, that's...
Now we're back.
You're back.
Lene, thank you very much. Angela, how you doing? Let's add to that rum man, as they say in Guyana.
You know what? It's a normal pattern I see, and Sadi said we live in the same street, and I had neighbors too, who they work all week. They come home drunk on Friday. They drink out a lot of their money, and then they beat up their wife. So it's a pattern. But I'm so glad now that women are making themselves more marketable now. They're working and they're not taking so much abuse like before. Now a lot of Guyanese women are working for themselves.
They're
It's a
being
good
independent. So you guys, if you're working, I should say all your girls out there working, woman empowerment. It's 2019, and I can't imagine being home all day. Even if your spouse won the lotto, come on, get up and go out there be productive, be the best you could be, and we all have something to offer. Get out there and work. I believe in Guyana, men used to take advantage of women because they were so dependent also. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to some effect, that was happening a lot. It's rampant. I don't think it's just Guyana. I think in the West Indian community and other communities as well, we shouldn't just, point that out in one community. But the thing is, I mean, if you're facing this or if this is happening in your life, there are ways to get help. There are numbers to call. There are hotlines that you can call and so on and so forth. And you guys keep talking about the change of somebody. It's called the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde effect. The guy starts drinking. He's a nice guy. In the beginning,
What kind of effect is that?
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, right? So the guy is a nice guy in the beginning of the night. He's the nicest guy. He's going to be the nicest friend all night. And then come 12, 1 o'clock, he's not such a nice guy anymore. You ever went to a wedding house in Guyana? They're all friends at the beginning of the night. At the end of the night, they're all fighting.
They could be unbearable at times too, because they could be disgusting.
Right. You have the quiet guy, and then when he drinks, he's kissing everybody. Let him take one drink. All of a sudden, he's the nicest guy in the room, right? So you have, and it's not always bad, right? Like sometimes it's a quiet guy. He becomes very social. He get out of himself and all of that. And then you have the other spectrum where the guy becomes abusive. Some wives don't want their husband to drink anymore, and some wives want him to drink because he comes home, he gives out all the money. He's like, here, you have $1, you have a $5. We all had, like I heard stories about people that want their dad to drink. I love it my dad come home drunk because I get so much money, you know what I mean? But it's not always that good story. Sometimes it's a bad story, and it leads to tragic thing. I know a guy, he was a police officer, New York police officer. He drank, he was in a blackout, and he killed his wife. He shot his wife and he shot his kids. So it has tragic ending. And sometimes we laugh about it, the drunk guy falling around, but it can be a tragic thing, And you guys talk about driving drunk and, not only you're endangering yourself, endangering everybody
others,
else,
innocent people who's on the road, who's not even looking for trouble,
Right.
You could be just driving, minding your own business, and I don't drink and drive, and next thing you know, you happen to have an accident with someone who's innocent, and they don't deserve that. When you
Right.
go on the road, you expect to be safe.
Right.
Driving among intelligent folks who make wise decisions. So let's say no to drink and drive.
That's right.
Uber.
Uber.
And so next week, Shanaz, I know you're not going to be here, but myself and Saudi, and if probably Saudi could get another friend, and we will talk.
You never know who to expect in
yes.
our studio. So guys, do join us, share the page, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you need some help, the Caribbean Voice is here. 5 minutes of your time could save a life. And suicide prevention is everybody's business. Angela Ramstrand, good night to you. She said, some women drive men to drink. Uh-oh. John, what do you think?
Wow, true that.
And
true
someone
that, guy.
said,
See the right thing there, guy.
someone said too much of the nagging, some women do.
People would say that, but look, there's no reason. There's no reason.
That's
Look,
right.
there's no reason for you to get to that extent, okay? There's open communication. Look, we're in a society where you should allow to talk. If maybe, and it's not just wives that nag, okay? Let's just get it straight. Let's not
Husband
just
nagging
pick on the
husband,
wives
okay.
only. Husband nag too. Look, I've been known to nag once in a while too, But the thing is, it shouldn't get to that where you think your wife or your husband is nagging you too much. There should be communication, and I'm pretty sure Kenneth and Shanaz can have a whole different segment based on open communication between spouses, which is probably needed as well, right? But yeah, I don't think there's
Upcoming
anything.
topic.
Yeah, there you
Open
go.
communication, guys. We
There you
love
go.
all your comments, all your feedback, and thank you guys for sharing. As we say, sharing is caring. Give John from Queens some love. Check out his YouTube channel. He has 2. John from Queens 1, 2, and hey, he can make you famous and make a John from Queens 3 channel just for you guys.
Actually, there's actually John from Queens 3 and John from Queens without the 3. There's
See,
no-
he's so popular.
Good.
He has Holly Berry following him. Isn't that awesome?
What?
So he's the man
He's the man. John is the
I
man.
actually, I think that turned out to be a fake one, but there's thousands of Hollywood people following me.
Maharani Dubey, good night to you. John Nimat, hey, I'll be going to Guyana in August for the Caribbean Voice Concert for Hope. To answer your question, July 13th is the Concert for Hope in NYC, and June 29th, we are coming to Orlando, the Sip and Chat restaurant. If you know someone living in Orlando, tell them to support us, the Sip and Chat restaurant. And yes, that date is June 29. Mr. Kenneth will be there, and we'll have John from Queens filming Chutney Wine. Did someone say Ricky Jai? Ricky Jai will be here April 27. Chutney Wine is happening at the beautiful Amazura Concert Hall, and he said he loved Tasa. So we have the Aman Tasa group, the Shivkala Dance Academy, Sasha and Oma Devi, Shelly Ramadan, and the cast continue. Not forgetting Apache Warrior, Anthony Prasad, the beautiful Sheila Basdeo, Rashid Bacchus, Hemant, and yes, the cast continue. More of Suriname folks, the Baita Ghana music. Guys, support all our shows. We have the Angels Caribbean Band, Gita Bistram live. Not forgetting Hangama. And again, I see Mr. Anthony Prasad on this one, done by Dheeraj Gairam, the Dancing Sensational. And I know Shanti's on this one also. So guys, support all of our community events and support Chutney Wine. The date is April 27th, Amazura Concert Hall. Say hi to John from Queens. Until next time, join us next week for part 2 on alcohol abuse.
See you guys next week.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
God bless, take care, and all the best. 5 minutes of your time can save a life.